And now it's time for a Geek Speak with
GK Technologies,
Sarah and Jodi.
In the fields again. I just can't wait to get in the fields again. The life I love is spreading potash for my friends, and I can't wait to get in the fields again. No, I can't wait to get in the fields again.
Well, I am so excited to be here today, Jodi. And first of all, I think it's really important that the world knows that GK Technology has hired its newest employee, Jodi Bowe, with a robust background in agronomy. So welcome to the team.
Thank you so much for having me, and it is a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to be a part of the team. And it is a landmark event today in that we are recording our first ever podcast at GK Technology.
We are so excited about this podcast. When we heard that you were coming on board as one of the team members, it just seemed like the right time to be doing something like this. There's so many people, I think, out there in the countryside that just want to have good conversations about precision agriculture from a very practical standpoint as to how precision agriculture can really fit into a daily farming operation or agronomy operation, and really how to make it all go.
Absolutely, right? I mean, it's you back to any sort of agronomy conversation. There's not only the agronomy aspect of it, but it's also the logistics of it. And a lot of what we do here at GK is figuring out, okay, what is the software? What's the map that's going to make what you want to do in precision agriculture go?
Yeah. We're really good at identifying, okay, what is the issue in the field and how can we actually solve it?
Yep.
So, and doing all kinds of fun things with it, whether it's variable rate applications or what else are we doing?
Designing tile, planning out, doing watershed planning to figure out what your tile is going to look like.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that we're doing. Watershed planning, surface drainage, drain tile planning, variable rate technology, or as far as prescriptions.
Putting zones together so that you can go out and pull soil samples, whether that be for grid zones or zone soil sampling, and then also having the technology there to help you go out and pull those samples out in the field.
And, it's interesting, Jodi. I know this is literally, your third day on the job?
Yes.
Okay.
Day 3.
Well, I've only been with GK for 2 years. This is about my 2-year anniversary here. So I'm still pretty fresh blood working for this company as well. It's been a great ride so far, but it's interesting to think about some of the background that I've had working in soils and soil sampling and independent agronomy and how that's worked with GK Technology so hand in hand, and how I think about some things maybe a little bit differently now after the last 2 years from before. And part of that is simply because of all the conversations that I've had a chance to have with a ton of customers. And so I'm just excited for you to have those conversations yourself. I know that you've had a lot of experience in soils because you've had a chance to work in a lot of different areas in both the United States and Canada.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be really fun to, bring that forward to this conversation here. But I do think about precision agriculture a little bit differently. One of those things is zones and how we create zones. So I'm excited to have good conversations about how we make good zones, putting data together.
Yeah. And I think about, what is this podcast going to look like? And I think a lot of it is going to be, as a person that has only been here for 3 days, a lot of it's going to be me talking to customers and bringing on people that have used our software for years and what kind of problems they've, wanted to help solve and then did actually use the software to solve what they were trying to figure out. And so I'm really excited to see and talk to folks about those practical applications and, what are people's different philosophies on putting those zone maps together? What are the weird issues that they've come across and they've said, okay, how am I going to deal with this? And then they go through and they figure out, what the map is for that situation. So I'm super excited to dig in deeper with folks and have conversations about precision agriculture. And of course, bring you guys along for that ride as well.
Absolutely. I'm also excited to talk about how we export out prescriptions to different controllers, because that is a big issue, and those conversations take up a lot of my time with different customers, making sure that we can get those prescriptions into all different colors of equipment and all different kinds of equipment. So that's going to be a really fun thing to talk about. I'm excited about that.
Isn't it interesting? Like you coming from or like being outside of or before thinking about, how we're using these prescriptions, a person kind of thinks, oh, well, it's just a USB stick, right? I just take a file on a USB stick and stick it into my controller and it works. No, that's not how it goes. It's so much more complicated. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about why that is and what we can do to get around some of these things.
Yeah, it's all fun and dandy until you didn't get the prescription exported out correctly, and now there's rain in the forecast, and there's a tractor sitting on the end of the field, and they can't get the.
I'm getting like secondhand anxiety over here.
Oh, you're going to be fine. Don't worry. It's going to be good. You export out a few of them, and you end up knowing the right questions to ask. It's good stuff. So, and I'm also really excited to dig in a little bit deeper into some of the drainage side of things. We've got this really robust side of GK technology with the surface drainage, and we actually have some pretty big experts on our staff with surface drainage. When we start thinking about guys like Paul Fuller, man, that guy knows a lot about how to make water run, and so I'm really excited to have some conversations around some of that as well.
There's a lot of things to talk about. It's going to be good. It's
going to be great. And I also think it's going to be really important at one point in time. I don't know if this should be together or separate, but Darren and Kelly, we're going to have both of those gentlemen come on and talk a little bit about their history, their career history and how they got to where they are with GK technology today. Quite frankly, Darren Johnson really is a pioneer of precision agriculture. And it's pretty neat to have an opportunity to work for him and his company and the things that we can learn. And it really is Kelly that is the person that was able to get the company off the ground and kind of a marketable product. So I'm really excited to have those conversations as well.
Absolutely. I mean, here we're being in the Valley of North Dakota and Minnesota, you don't realize until you're kind of in it for a couple of years, like how many important innovations have come from this area. And getting the opportunity to talk to those people that have put together those innovations and have thought about these problems for a long time and have put together solutions, it's really exciting. And hopefully it's a privilege not only for us to talk to and get those and glean those conversations from Darren and Kelly and others, but hopefully for you guys as well to learn from those conversations and take something with you as you go.
Absolutely. Another thing that I think is really important to think about is a lot of the work that we're doing tends to be pretty imagery based. And we have some pretty big experts in the world of imagery and imagery as it pertains to how we can make great precision agriculture decisions. So hopefully we can dive a little bit deeper into that as well.
I'm excited to jump and dive right into that. I mean, it's so funny. Like I think about myself as an agronomist and like what I thought I would do as an agronomist going from like a high schooler to now. And I never thought that I'd be at a point in my career where I would have to worry about new satellites going into space. But that is absolutely so much of what we work with is imagery collected by satellites. And so now we have to worry about space, which is such a cool thing as an agronomist and a geek. Like, how cool is it that we have to worry about satellites? So we'll talk more about that, some of the science behind it. I think Kelly used a term with me yesterday. Oh, he's going to be disappointed that I've already forgotten it. But when you think about it, right, all this imagery has to be collected so that shadows are consistent or non-existent when they collect that imagery. And so that's something that you don't think about, but it is absolutely something that these companies that run these satellites and collect your imagery, that's something that they think about. So we'll talk about those kind of sciencey terms too.
Mm-hmm. And we actually have experts that right here on staff that do that work. Clint is a huge expert with imagery, so it's going to be a lot of fun to visit with him about that too.
Do we call him our aerospace engineer?
We can.
Okay. I think we should do that. Surprise, Clint.
We're gonna start giving everybody new job titles on our podcast. So now we've got our own aerospace engineer.
The sky is now the limit.
The sky is not the limit anymore.
You're right. We're already in space, and here I'm limiting us at the sky.
No, we're going way beyond that. Anyway, it's going to be a fun ride. We are so excited to do this podcast. We're going to just explore everything that we possibly can and right down to different agronomy ideas, things that we can try to do at the field level. Variable rate, fertilizers, seed,
IDC management,
acidic soil management, maybe some pesticide conversations in there. It could get really fun. So anyway, we are just really looking forward to it. And I think it's going to be fun.
It's going to be so much fun. What I hope you take away is that you know that GK has a map for that. And please come along with us as we go on this podcasting ride.
It's going to be fun. GK Technology, we've got a map and an app for that.
In the fields again, on the land that needs refeeding after harvest. With NP and K, greater crops that keep yields turning your way. And your way. In the fields again, I just can't wait to get in the fields again. The life I love is spreading potash with my friends. And I can't wait to get in the fields again. No, I can't wait to get in the fields again.